It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. This is the Action Sports Jax Postgame Show, sponsored by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.
You just watched it, baby. Eagles fly high over our Jaguars, 29-21. A couple hours ago, didn't we have a 14-0 lead? Wasn't everything going our way? Weren't we about to be 3-1? Oh, man, what a disappointment. You know, we went up there, Stuart, what year was that? 2014, we went up there. It was the opening Sunday of the National Football League. And the Jags led at the half 17-0 at the half. Allen Hurns had a couple touchdown passes from Chad Henne. And then Nick Foles and the Eagles, and Doug Peterson, I believe, rolled back and beat our Jags 34-17. Now, it's a totally different time, totally different energy, totally different things. But same sort of thing happened today. You know, I feel like a lot of things to dissect here. Welcome to the postgame show, by the way. Dan Hicken waiting on Brent. In Philly, we'll play you Doug Peterson's comments live. I feel like we had a chance. I think we learned something today. Trevor Lawrence is not a good bad weather player. Holy smokes, man. He regressed to rookie Trevor today. That was awful to watch. Could not hold on to the football at all. Threw a terrible pick in the red zone. It was a bad situation there. The defense, though, had every chance to help, and they didn't. They went in as the #1 rushing defense in the NFL. They were allowing 55 yards rushing a game. Eagles over 200 today. Miles Sanders went for a career high. Here's some game day notes for you. Look at the total yards. Nearly doubled. Look at the turnovers. That's all you need to know. Five. And those were by Trevor. Look at the first downs. I mean, it was a bad deal out there today for our Jags. It was a poor performance led by a lot of our important players. So Jags end up losing 29-21. They fall to 2-2. Not all is lost. Look, if you had told me at the beginning of the year, split the first four, we split the two road games after getting our first win against Indy. We jumped up to a 14-0 lead. We were playing great football. And I said at the time on Twitter, I said, the Jags need to go for a kill shot here. And Doug Peterson agreed because he sent Agnew deep. By the way, Jamal Agnew, great game. Guest tomorrow on Jags Report Live. He went deep, had his guy beat by 2 yards, and Trevor missed him. And that was the beginning of the end. I don't know if the Eagles come back from 21-0. But from 14-0, they found something. It was called running the football. And I don't know what happened to our run defense today, but it was piss poor. I don't know. Can we say that on the Facebook, Stuart? We just did. It was bad. It was no bueno. Man, oh, man. Miles Sanders. And it wasn't Hurts. That's what bothers me the most. It was a running back. You got to stop the running back. Here's the quarterback. I did say that's what hurts. I did, didn't I? Pun intended. Not really. 11-23, Trev. Less than 50%. And, you know, that's fine in the weather and stuff. But look at the fumbles. 4. He lost every one of them, didn't he, Stuart? Every fumble he fumbled today, the Eagles recovered. Jalen Hurts got it done. He threw a pick 6. We were up 14-0. But our offense was bad today, and our defense was bad. I don't know which was worse. We ought to do a quickie poll. Which was worse today, the Jaguars' offense or the Jaguars' defense? Neither, I'm not so sure. I mean, they said somebody needs to step up with Zay Jones not playing. Jamal Agnew did. Look at that. 4 receptions, 50 yards, and a couple touchdowns. ETN, 8 carries, 32 yards. I don't know why James Robinson got out of the game plan. And Christian Kirk couldn't catch the ball, and they couldn't get him the ball. That was bad, too. That wasn't good. So, all in all, it was really a lousy performance of 3 quarters. The first quarter was reminiscent of the Colts game and reminiscent of last week's win, right? Those two, the first quarter. So, we'd played 9 really good quarters against the Colts, the Chargers, and the Eagles. And then the last 3 quarters were just lousy. So going into the game, we felt like the Eagles quarterback had it better. We were right. Felt like the Jags running backs had it better. We were wrong. Felt like the Eagles wide receivers had it better. We were right. Defensively, we needed turnovers. This turnover should be, we got one, but they had 5. So, Eagles defense was better. And then special teams, Vince Papale and the gang, invincible. Logan Cook had a 61-yard punt. That was nice. Their Pro Bowl kicker missed a point after. But it all added up to an Eagles win, 29-21. And here's the most galling thing, and it's tough. Look, the Jags were done. It was 29-13 after another Trevor fumble, and the Eagles cashed it in. And so, or 29, what was the score, Stuart? 29-13, is that right? I know, but it was 29-14. Yeah, 29-14. And Trevor found a wide-open Christian Kirk for 50, hit Agnew for a touchdown, and we kicked the extra point to make it a one-score game. It's 29-21. Okay, cool. All right. We don't play very well. The Eagles run the ball, but we do get a stop and get the ball back. 2 minutes, no timeouts. We got a chance. So I want to see Trevor in that situation because he's been in this situation before and he's not delivered. So here's a great opportunity for Trevor, young quarterback, had a bad day, but coming off a touchdown drive, build on that. Let's go. First play, back to pass, fumbles for the 4th time. Eagles recover, game over. First play. I mean, can we get it at least like at the 6th? At least the 6th play? There you see the podium. We're awaiting Doug Peterson. But before we get Dougie P, we got Brent in Philly with some post-game reaction. He can't be any happier than I am as we kind of watch the Jags fall apart for 3 quarters. Let's listen to Brent.
Yikes might be the best word for that. Obviously, coming out of this game, everybody's going to be talking about Trevor Lawrence. Couldn't hold on to the football in this nasty weather, and the Eagles' front was able to get to him, knock the ball loose. 4 fumbles, not good. An interception that also wasn't good, cost them points. And the Jaguars' run defense, I thought, was really bad. They got manhandled. This is a team that had stopped the run the first few weeks. But I was concerned about the physicality of that offensive line for Philadelphia, and they made it look easy for the final 3 quarters. They controlled the game, time of possession, down in distance. They didn't really make it hard on Jalen Hurts in this bad weather conditions. So you got to give credit to the offensive line and the style of play to Philadelphia. But this one will be a what if, kind of like that Washington game. You had the big lead, 14-0. One more play might have put the Eagles away early on. And the Eagles are pretty good. They made the one play to change it, the fumble on 4th down, and then they go score, and that really changed the momentum. The game was never the same. Jags lose 29-21. But let's look at the big picture for a moment. And I know everybody wants to win every game, but that's unrealistic with this football team. 2-2 to start the year, and the next 3 weeks are critical, in my opinion. You get Houston at home. Houston battles every week, but you're better than them. You go to Indianapolis. You own them, at least as of now, and you crushed them a few weeks back. And then you get the Giants back at home. It's a critical 3-week stretch. I think we'll know a lot about this football team over the next few weeks and heading into a bunch of games with good teams in the AFC West and even the Baltimore Ravens mixed in there. Jags really look bad at times in this one, though. A little reality check. Eagles win 29-21. We're headed to the locker room. More to come. For now, in Philadelphia with the Jags, I'm Brent Martineau, Action Sports Jax.
Yeah, disappointing to say the least. Brent mentioned the schedule. So the first quarter's in the books. Remember, we play 17, so we got a little more left. But nonetheless, the first quarter's in the books, and this one hurts, right? That was a bad loss. And 2 impressive wins back-to-back, right? Colts and the Chargers, nice dubs, man. And then today was El Stinko, that's no good. It's tough to win on the road 2 weeks in a row in the NFL. And we're talking about a team that we feel like can be better, but I don't know that they're ready to be like, we just played a really good team today. I don't know that they're ready to be like a 12-5 team. I think they're ready to be a 9-8 type team, though. Well, if you're going to be a 9-8 team, as Brent mentioned, these next 3, critical, right? You got to stack a couple wins. I'd like to say we'll handle Houston, but we have not handled Houston in a long time. Houston they swept us last year. They swept us the year before. I think they might have 6 in a row. I'm not exactly sure the number. But yeah, Houston we should beat Houston, but I don't know. Huh? Yeah, they lost to the Chargers today. They lost to the Chargers 34-24. Dameon Pierce, by the way, the former Gator, had a 75-yard run and 130 yards rushing. So, hey, Jags defense, better be ready for him next week. Colts, they're a different team up there. We know that. We've seen that, And then the Giants. Can you get two of these three? Can you get two of these three, or even if you want to go a step further and go to London and somehow get, three of these four? But if you can get, you got to get two or three of these right here and then go from there. But these three right here are critical. I think the Jags need to win a couple of those. If they do, then they're in the hunt. Look, Broncos, Raiders, suddenly, winnable games. Neither of them have looked that impressive. Then it gets tough, but we'll deal with the rest a little bit later. That's where we are right now. Jags at 2-2. And by the way, if you told me before the season the Jags would be 2-2 after the first four, I'd say, okay, good. So now we are tied for first. Yeah, tied for first. Tell me who Tennessee has next week, Stuart, if you don't mind, and the Colts. We know who Houston has. They have us, and we have. So Tennessee's at Washington, so suddenly they're playing good football. They've won a couple in a row. And then who do the Colts have as they fall today to fall to 1-2-1? The Jags at the Broncos. Oh, that's right, they're Thursday night. Colts are Thursday night, so that's a tough game for them. So listen, not all is lost, but we got to come back and win next week because Tennessee is going to win their football game next week. Tennessee is going to go and win in Washington, I think. So that's where we are right now, awaiting Doug Peterson. Jags lose 29-21. We've looked at some of the numbers. Both sides, empty podium, both sides equally bad in my opinion. Offense was bad, defense was bad. Remember, we had a pick six from the defense early, so really the Jags accounted for 14 points offensively. That's not good enough. And this falls on the, on the shoulders of Trevor. A lot of you guys were talking to me on Twitter, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And I get it. We just didn't have enough plays to get any kind of rhythm going. And then if you throw on first down and you try to throw again on second down and you miss those two, suddenly you're facing third and long and you have to throw. So kind of was one of those days. But James Robinson, I think he had 8 carries, and I think ETN had 8 carries, if I'm not mistaken. So only 16 rushes today. Not great balance, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't as bad as, say, week 1. They did get away from the run a little bit. Might have needed to run it a little bit more. But Philadelphia, to their credit, figured something out. There you see it. ETN and Robinson both with 8 carries. And ETN had 32 yards. So there you have it. Can you give me Trevor's numbers again against Hurts? Take a look at that. Remind you guys again. 11 to 23 for 174, and he got a lot of those on that last drive too, if you remember. So, and 4 fumbles. My goodness gracious, that is not good from Trevor Lawrence. 4 fumbles today for the Jaguars' second-year quarterback, who I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he has to say. I don't know if he's played in games in the rain. Certainly, he's played in games in the rain. All right, homecoming for Doug Peterson. You know his story by now. If you don't, he was a quarterback. He was undrafted from Northeast Louisiana, but to his credit, he hung in the NFL for 13 years. Played for a bunch of different teams, including the Miami Dolphins. Got to back up Brett Favre and be part of a Super Bowl champion. Got into coaching, started at the high school level. Boy, could you imagine having him as your high school coach? That would have been fun, huh? Then an assistant coach through a lot of years in Philadelphia and Kansas City. He's meeting with the media now. Let's listen in. Doug Peterson, tough loss today on his homecoming in Philadelphia.
Affect Trevor and the offense in general, in your opinion?
I mean, I think it affected him a little bit. Obviously, we can't turn the ball over 5 times like we did and expect good things to happen. And we're going to be in games like this, where the conditions aren't going to be favorable, and we just have to do our part to hang on to the ball.
Tough part of us because you were up kind of good start, 14 up, and then all of a sudden they just come at you with all these points. That's tough. Was that kind of a turnaround for your team?
Well, we talk about it all the time. It's just we've just got to focus on us, right? And anytime you make the mistakes we did, turn the ball over like we did, it's just and where we turned the ball over. You're not going to keep good teams out of the end zone, and that's really the difference in the football game. I'm proud of our guys for they fought there to the end, gave us a chance at least see what was going to happen there, at the end of the game. But it's just the turnovers and mental errors that really cost us today.
What was it like to be back?
It was great. Yeah, it was great. It was a great crowd, great welcome. But yeah, it was good.
Was there anybody out there you didn't get a chance to talk to, Doug? You were out there a long time before the game,
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, this is my normal routine, just seeing guys. But at the end of the day, I've got a job to do and get the Jags ready to play. But it was good to see a lot of people. And when you spend as much time here as we did, and do the things we did, it was good to see a lot of people.
Did the bring back any memories at all, though? Just being here.
I mean, once the game started, no. I mean, it's just the fact that you're looking a little different perspective, but on the other sideline. But obviously spent a lot of time in that stadium, and fans were great today, as expected, and just unfortunate for us.
What's the big learning experience Trevor must take away from a day like this? 4 lost fumbles, an interception, 14-0 lead lost.
Yeah, I think obviously short-term memory, number one. We got to fix those mistakes with him, correct them, show him, keep teaching him, and he's going to be better for it. We'll be better for it, obviously down the road, and he's great about fixing things and being a pro about it, and that's what we expect, and he'll do that.
Doug, I think James didn't touch it other than the last carry and a half, but like 2 quarters, second, third, and you guys only ran it like 19 times.
We just didn't have enough touches. I mean, turnovers, and you just don't have enough touches, and you're trying to get the ball to this guy and that guy and stick to your plan, and you just can't turn the ball over like we did. You just don't get enough opportunities.
How much did the first down, even some of the drops to kind of get you guys going? It seemed like they happened on first down plays, get you out of the rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard. We just, again, we can't, as much as we try, we can't let the elements affect, what we do. And you might have to modify some things, but you really have to stick to your plan and do the things that that we've been able to have success with, the last couple of weeks.
They were really able to run the ball when they needed to run the ball, when they needed to work clock late in the game. As a play caller, how, and a guy so designing offense, how hard is that for an offense to do when the other team knows you're probably going to run it and you need to run it and you do it?
Are you talking about what they did at the end?
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, that's, as we know, that's a good offensive line. Know all those guys and know how they're coached and they're well coached, and it's just that's what they've prided themselves in, and we've got to be better, on the defensive side. We got to stay in gaps, and we got to somehow, try to slow down the rush, as best we can. But yeah, I mean, that's how you win games at the end. When you got the lead, you just run behind the big offensive line, and as long as you make first downs, stay on the field, you got a chance to win the game.
How disheartening was that sequence where Trevor misses Agnew deep, could have been a 21-0 lead, then the first fumble follows, and then the other part later in the game when they got 3rd and 5, they just ended up in the middle and get 7 yards.
I mean, those are obvious plays, right? I mean, we have to convert. We got to make. We got to make those, and when you have guys open like that, and just do the best we can to execute those plays, and then again, on the flip side of it, staying disciplined in our in our rush lanes and trying to get the ball carrier on the ground.
Doug, you had 2-2 after 4. You have to feel for this team. There's been a lot of different things that's happened, the good, the not so good.
I think I got a great feel for this football team. These guys are mad, and they're kind of a little bit ticked off, and they should be. They should hate losing more than they enjoy winning, and that's what I told them after the game. And 24 hours, we'll get in the film room tomorrow, and we'll look at it, and we'll fix it, make the corrections, and then move on. But it's a good group of men in there, and they're they hurt just like I do, and they want it just like I do, and we'll get it fixed.
Zay Jones wasn't able to go today. Was that a product of maybe the the temperature and the rain and things of that nature, or did you just not want to have him out there at all with an ankle?
I think it was more just him physically. He tried to run on it, pregame or before pregame, and sort of a game time decision. And look, I'm a big believer that if a player's not feeling it mentally, you just don't want to risk it, right? You just don't want to put him out there. And of course, then the elements. But it's only week 4, and there's a lot of football ahead of us still. And I just didn't want to put him in a situation that could set him back, and hopefully get him back this week.
Doug, do you have any update on Bonacossi and how big of a part of the run defense?
I don't yet. Some of the injuries we have, I got to just check with our docs here when I get done, and probably have a better update tomorrow.
How tough is it though when you don't have him out there on those crucial?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big part of the run defense, obviously, and pushes the pocket. It's just makes you a little bit thin, but I thought the guys around him stepped up, did a nice job, but we'll see where he's at. Try to get him healthy for next week.
You and Hurts kind of talked to each other after the game. Anything you can share about that? I mean, obviously, you had a relationship based on here.
No, I just told him I was proud of him, and just wished him well the rest of the season, and just how he's really turned into the leader that we all thought he was going to be and is, just wanted him to know that.
Did you guys have to practice in the rain this week, or were you able to?
We were in the rain a little bit on Wednesday. Thursday it rained kind of like this, but we were indoors down there in Jacksonville. And then Friday it was a beautiful Friday. So, we missed the bulk of the storm. Stayed south and east of us. We got lucky there, so we practiced one day in the rain.
Do you have a philosophy? Do you like to practice if you know the conditions are going to be bad? Do you like to practice deliberately with a wet ball, or at this level?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we do. We try to, especially if we have, I would say, multiple dry games in a row, and we know there's some weather coming in. We try to do that. But listen, we live in Florida, and it rains quite a bit, down there, and anytime, even if we do practice and there's a little bit of rain, we're going to go outside and practice in the elements if we can.
On the snap, was that more on Fortner or Trevor, or could you tell?
It's hard to tell on the screen replay. It looked like it just was a drop snap, something that, we obviously can't happen in those situations, and we got to clean that up.
How much do you feel like on the last one that Trevor, do you feel like he held the ball a little too long on the last one?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Until we really honestly look at the film and see what other options he might have, at that time. But just knowing that, you just got to keep 2 hands on the football and try to hang on to it.
As a former quarterback yourself, did you feel, a special need to really kind of calm Trevor down after the game? Because as bad as he feels to this day, I'm just wondering.
I mean, we talked even during the game, and told him that we just got to keep fighting, keep pushing and plugging away. And, he understands, he knows. He's a professional, and it's just something we just got to continue to work on, with him and with everybody that touches the football. And, this is we're going to be good. We're going to be okay. We'll be fine. We'll learn from this and make the necessary corrections.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
All right, that's Doug Peterson, the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Some observations, some thoughts, some concepts, some rationalizations from listening to him. Number one, it's always fun because you can hear the Philadelphia media guys in there, and obviously it's a homecoming for Doug Peterson. They want that one good soundbite. Oh, yeah, I saw Billy from equipment. I haven't seen him in 7 years. Man, I was teasing him about such and such, but, it's tough when you lose a game. What's he supposed to say? He's the coach of the Jaguars now. He's got to focus on the Jaguars, and that's sort of what he said. So he got a nice ovation when he came out, and he should have, so good for Philly fan. They're not as bad as everybody says. I know they booed Santa Claus. That's sort of a great story that goes through, and they've done some other things as well. But, it is what it is. Hey, Trevor Lawrence is already up and ready to roll. Let's listen in on the Jaguars quarterback.
The turnovers, how big of an effect you guys had? Because you had the momentum going, and then it just kind of, the miscues kind of took over.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I'll just start by saying, obviously, I got to play better. I mean, our defense gave us a chance to win it at the end of the game, and I'm just pissed I let those guys down, and really just too many turnovers. Obviously, it starts with me. All of them were me today, so that's no one else to blame there. So let those guys down. It's disappointing. I felt like we had a chance to win that game, and we did. And same thing at the end there. So that's really frustrating. Really felt like we've started to click and get some drives going, and then got on there tight in the red zone early in the second half, and had the interception, which was obviously a big shift in momentum. And then at the end, we were able to score in a minute there, the second to last drive, get us back in the game. Defense had a huge stop on 4th down, and then same thing, first play in the pocket, guy gets his hand on it. I just gotta, I gotta take better care of the ball, gotta tuck it. I mean, there's gonna be things to learn from, and obviously just really disappointed right now.
How did Jamal Agnew step up for you today?
Yeah, he played great. I mean, that's a guy that really can do a lot of things for us, and he did it last year too. So I'm pretty familiar with just how he plays, the things that he can do, the different positions we can put him in and use him. And he did a great job stepping up. I think 2 touchdowns a day, and had some big catches, and played great. He was ready to roll, and that's all you can ask.
Have you had many games like this where it's just a sideways rain for the entire outing?
Not really. It rains a ton, obviously, in Florida, but just today it was the wind and everything. It was pretty brutal, and just at the end of the day, no excuses. We're both playing in it, and like I said, just really frustrated right now, and excited to watch the tape, and just it's going to be brutal to watch it, and just to see all the missed opportunities and things that we had. And with 4 turnovers and to still have a chance to go win the game at the end, it doesn't usually happen. So it shows that we played well in other areas. So we got to clean that up, and we will, and I'm confident in that. But it's definitely sucks right now.
How hard is it for you to process a loss like this when you have as many turnovers as you did, as opposed to a loss where it doesn't seem like the quarterback had as bad a day as you had today? How difficult is it for you?
Yeah, it's either way. You lose a game, it's not fun. But obviously, it's more frustrating when you personally didn't play well and had a lot of opportunities and kind of just didn't take advantage of them. Turn the ball over way too much. You're not really going to win any games turning it over 5 times. And so, yeah, it's really frustrating, disappointing. But we got to have a short memory, just like we do when we win. When we play well, same thing when we don't play well, when I don't play well, when we lose a game, whatever it is. 24-hour rule. We got to watch this tape, learn from it, and move on to the Texans next week.
When you released the deep ball to Jamal, did you think you had it, or did you kind of know that you had put too much on it?
The one early, talking about? Yeah, I had a little bit of pressure, so I had to get it out a little quicker than I wanted to, and really just with the elements the way they were, I didn't want to hang the ball up too much and give the safety a shot to get it. So try to put it somewhere where only he could get it, and overthrew it a little bit. But that was just one that he did a good job, beat his guy, and it was one we just obviously want to hit, but it's all good.
How tough was it for you guys as an offense just not being able to get the ground game going? I know there were fewer touches because of the turnovers.
I just think the way some of those series went, first down, we just were behind the sticks a lot, whether that was an incompletion or whatever, a miscue on first down, whatever it was. We were in a lot of second and longs, third and longs early in the game, and then even coming out after halftime. So whatever that was, I couldn't tell you everything right now. I need to go back and watch it and really, talk to the coaches, all that stuff. But it's just we didn't stay on schedule like we have the last 2 weeks, so that hurt us. And then same thing. I think it really comes down to the turnovers at the end of the day. Obviously, everybody probably knows that, but taking all that stuff into consideration, still had a chance to win and put together some great drives, and we gotta finish. Can't turn it over.
Trevor, what was your perspective on the snap with Fortner on the fumble there? Was that
Yeah, just for me, I gotta secure it. Obviously, it's pouring at that point, and going under center, trying to get the QB sneak, and everyone's pushing just to try to get that 1 yard. And those are the situations where it's just you got to secure it. Obviously that's the main thing, but you get a little bit ahead of yourself and you're trying to strain to get that 1 yard, and that's when you see some mishaps with catching the snap, all that stuff. So communication was good. It was just on me. I don't know. I mean, obviously, you can't go back to that moment and be like, where were my hands exactly, all that. I'm not really thinking about that in that moment, but at the end of the day, Luke does a great job. He's consistent. We never had issues, and I've never had issues there, and that was just one that we missed, and that's on me, and we got to learn from it and get better.
Did your confidence ever waver? I mean, throughout the process, you turnovers and things of that nature, sometimes it can pile on a little bit.
Yeah. No, not really, honestly. Like, obviously, like I said, the back and forth, the ebbs and flows of the game, I actually think we managed well besides the turnover there at the end. I mean, after all that had happened, we're down whatever we were down there before the second to last drive, down 2 scores, and we go and score in a minute, I think, whatever, 70 or 65, 70-yard drive, go and score in a minute, get us back in the game. I had all the confidence there, and I think everybody did. And then have a chance to go win it, same thing, another turnover. So never really lost confidence. It's just, like I said, you can't win a game doing that.
Well, what does that say about this team? Just, you guys were in it at the end.
Yeah, it's Trevor Lawrence. My confidence wavered a little bit, I'll be honest with you, watching it. Trevor started his press conference by saying, hey, man, it was my bad. And it was. I mean, again, you can't turn it over 5 times. Trevor Lawrence turned it over 5 times today. And by the way, James Robinson fumbled as well, but the Jags recovered that one. So they put the ball on the ground 5 times. Now they're going to come back and say, hey, but you know what? We had a chance at the end. And they did. They did. So I don't know what that means because the defense wasn't any good either. They gave up 200 yards rushing. So I don't know how to sort of process the fact that the Jags actually had a chance, except maybe to tell you, well, that's the NFL. Maybe there's a little more talent. We know this is a good football team. I don't know if it's a great football team, but we know it's a good football team. So, Brent in the locker room right now. Let's get you one more interview. Let's go with Andre Cisco, the Cisco kid. Little pick 6 to start the game today and set the tone for what we thought was going to be a big Jaguar day.
Big play.
Yeah. When they come, you got to catch them. Tips and overthrows. We always say we got to get those. And had one fall into my hand. Was able to capitalize some great blocks and a good return to score.
Yeah, how about getting in? Obviously, it's a goal once you get it, right?
Yeah, no, it was dope. And it's like you hear the crowd sign, that's when you know you made it in. So, yeah, it was cool.
The flip, you guys were up 14-0, and then it really changed in the second quarter. How much was that a punch to you guys in that first half?
Yeah, it's tough. We talked about it on the sideline. Don't get too high. I understand, we still got a lot of game to play. And they was able to come back and put points on the board in the second quarter. So, unfortunately, we need to stop the run better.
Yeah, I was going to say big physical offensive line. I mean, they pretty much controlled it there. You guys have done a good job first 3 weeks. Back to the drawing board type thing?
Yeah, different. It was just a different run game. I think we could have approached it better. They were doing some things with tempo. It's all across the board work on it.
What do you look first quarter of the season? 2-2, and obviously a big stretch coming up with some division games. How do you view it?
I think I like where we are. I think you always want to be 4-0, but when you look at the way we lost the games, how we lost them, it's a lot to learn from. And the big goal is still in the picture. So keep working.
Keep working indeed. We'll talk more about it on Jags Report Live. That's tomorrow night. Jamal Agnew scheduled to appear. Andre Cisco already have appeared. Both young men had outstanding games for the Jags today, but it wasn't enough as Jacksonville falls. We're going to break it down for you. A lot more sound coming your way tonight on Action Sports Jax Prime Time. We'll hear from Trayvon Walker. We'll hear from Rayshawn Jenkins. We'll hear from Agnew. We'll hear from Cisco. More from Trevor. It's all coming up later tonight, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. We call it Action Sports Jax Prime Time. But today, we lose. But the bank will be back Sunday against Houston. Must-win time, season on the line. You know it, so do I. Thanks for hanging out with us on the post-game show, everybody. Have a good rest of your Sunday and enjoy the football.
It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. Thanks for watching the Action Sports Jax post-game show. Sponsored by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys.
Every Monday night, we're filling this seat with your favorite Jaguars player.
To talk all things Jags.
Live from Sneaker Sports Grill.
It's Jags Report Live.
with raw, real reactions from the players.
And Rowdy Jag Nation rocking behind us. There's no other place to be on Monday nights. Live from Sneakers.
It's Action Sports Jax, Jags Report Live. Mondays at 7 on Fox 30.
Brought to you by Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys.
I'm Mark Anajar. And I'm Glenn Levine. Catch the Jags Report Live every Monday on your home of the Jags.